Hey, I'm Sam Fleming. I'm the wildcard editor at Road Racing World, and today what we're going to do is we've got this Beta 350 RR Race Edition, and I thought we would weigh it. We're also going to take it down to KWS Motorsports, and we're going to dyno it and see what kind of horsepower this thing's making. So there's a few things that are different about this bike than a stock one. I've got radiator guards on it because I smashed one of the radiators in the first race I took it out on. The radiator guards, I have both the hard fronts and then also the Beta reinforcements. That stuff's all surprisingly heavy, so that was like 2.8 pounds worth of radiator guard that I've got on it. I've also got tubeless front and rear. I've got wraps on the bars. I have, it has the stock SOX ZF shock, but I've had the shock reworked by Drew Smith. I don't really think that's going to change the weight at all, but they did change the bladder from a SOX bladder to a K-Tech bladder. I also took off the stock tires and put on some Shinkos. So these are a 120 rear and an 80 front. I don't know, maybe a little bit lighter than stock. We did drain the tank, so the tank's basically empty. I've got Stegs pegs on it to give my forearms a break on the big climbs. I was able to take off the headlight, so that's gone. But the tail light is still on it because the tail light assembly is kind of part of the grab rail system. So that's the stuff that's different about this bike than, say, the way it arrived when I first got it. So I'm going to have my buddies Tim Gooding and Chris Manfred. Both of those are Army of Darkness crew guys. Tim Gooding actually used to work at the National Institute of Standards and Technology, which is NIST, which is the actual US government agency for weighing things. But he would be appalled when he sees the two scales that I've got to weigh it. So anyway, I'm going to get Tim down here to help me weigh it, and then we're going to go down and throw it on the dyno and see what kind of horsepower this thing makes.
You want to measure the wheelbase on this one? Or?
Probably about the same. It's got to be the same. It's got to be the same. Actually, it's going to be like half an inch longer because I put a smaller front sprocket on it.
All right.
All right, double palm it.
Okay. 122.4 and
131.6.
Hey, this is Mike Godin at KWS Motorsports, Charleston, South Carolina. We're getting ready to dyno this Beta 350. What did I say? Okay.
So one of the things I noticed when I started playing around with this Beta is the airbox is pretty well sealed up, and I couldn't figure out how the air was getting into it. And I think all of the air to get into this airbox is coming through these two seat mounts right here, which really doesn't look like much room. Plus it's got to come up through this hole. All the rest of this is pretty well sealed up. So in the olden days, we used to have slits back here, and on the TM it actually has a passageway that goes across the top of the tank. YZ250s obviously have an air intake up here. This one's pretty well sealed up. I don't know if it's because of noise restrictions that they have in Europe, but I was interested to do dyno runs with and without the seat to see how much more power we got with an opened up airbox.
It revs out higher with the seat off. Like it feels like it's falling off. And we're not getting AFR, but I bet we'd see a huge difference in AFR. Like it actually wants to pull high. I thought it just had a lower rev limit. But with the seat off, it feels like it wants to keep pulling. It's falling off, but you can see where I'm going further out. It does make more, and it's hard because the numbers are so low that the scale looks like a horsepower looks like a huge gain.
Right.
Those would be overlapping lines on a 1000. But like it naturally wants to just run out further. So if we were able to get AFR, I bet we'd see that it's going really lean right there. It's just lacking air. It's really interesting.
Cool.
Yep. Let me get torque.
But it's not as bad as I feared.
Right now, I'm faster on this bike than I am on any of my other dirt bikes. So even though it's a little bit heavier, it's got great torque, it's got traction control, and a bunch of other things. So even though it's a little portly, I'm actually faster on this one than I am on anything else right now.